Welcome back to ZE Coins. Today we are diving deep into the fascinating story of the 1974 Washington quarter dollar, a coin that has stunned collectors around the world with its hidden secrets, rare errors, and jaw-dropping value. Let's travel back to the year 1974. It was a time of economic change in America. The Vietnam War had just ended, inflation was high, and the U.S. Mint was producing billions of coins for circulation. Among those coins was the Washington quarter, a familiar design featuring George Washington on the front and the proud American eagle on the back. The quarter had been in production since 1932, originally created to honor the 200th birthday of the first U.S. president, but something unexpected happened in 1974 that would later make certain quarters from that year incredibly valuable. First, it's important to know that the U.S. Mint was preparing to switch the metal composition of coins during that time. Just a few years earlier, in 1965, silver had been completely removed from circulating quarters. They were now made of copper and nickel. But the Mint was experimenting again in the early 1970s with different materials for future coins, especially for a new dollar coin that would soon feature President Dwight D. Eisenhower. In 1974, a small number of experimental quarters were accidentally struck on 40% silver planchets meant for Eisenhower dollars. These mistakes, known as mint errors, created one of the rarest and most valuable types of Washington quarters ever produced. Imagine a 1974 quarter that looks ordinary on the outside but is actually made of silver, an incredible discovery hiding in plain sight, but that's not the only version that has collectors buzzing. There are also quarters from that year with double die errors, off-center strikes, and even missing mint marks. Each of these unique variations can push the coin's value from a few $100s to thousands, and in one extraordinary case, well over $1 million. One of these rare 1974 Washington quarters was discovered to have been struck on a 90% silver planchet, likely left over from pre-1965 minting stock. It was authenticated and graded by a top-tier coin grading company, and collectors went wild. When it finally appeared at auction, the coin fetched an astounding price, $1.16 million. That single coin, once worth just 25 cents, had become a piece of American history and one of the most talked about rarities in modern coin collecting. So what makes these coins so valuable? It's not just the metal or the year, it's the combination of rarity, historical significance, and condition. Coin collectors, also known as numismatists, look for what they call the holy trinity of value, rarity, demand, and preservation. A common coin in perfect condition might fetch a nice premium, but a rare mint error in perfect condition? That's when prices explode into the hundreds of thousands, or even into the $1 million range. Today, if you find a 1974 Washington quarter in your collection, it's worth taking a closer look. Start by checking the mint mark, usually found on the right side of Washington's ponytail. If it has a D, it was made in Denver. If it has an S, it came from San Francisco, and if there's no mint mark, it was struck in Philadelphia. Then check for signs of errors, double lettering, a thicker rim, an off-center strike, or any unusual shine or weight that might suggest it's a silver planchet. Even a minor variation could make your coin worth far more than face value. Most regular 1974 quarters are worth between 25 cents and $1, depending on where. But uncirculated or proof examples can go for a few dollars more. And if you're one of the lucky few who happen to hold a mint error or a silver strike, you could be sitting on a small fortune. In today's collector market, where rare coins are selling at record prices, the 1974 Washington quarter has taken on legendary status. The story of a coin going from pocket change to $1 million treasure has inspired people across the world to start checking their coins again. Every year, new discoveries are made, and the excitement never fades. In 1976, America celebrated its 200th birthday, the bicentennial of independence. To mark this monumental event, the United States Mint released a special set of coins that became one of the most recognizable issues in American numismatic history. Among them, the 1776 to 1976 Washington quarter dollar stands out as a symbol of national pride, artistry, and, for a few lucky collectors, incredible fortune. Some of these coins, because of their unique errors or rare varieties, have sold for jaw-dropping amounts, Even reaching over $1 million in value today, the Washington quarter has a proud history dating back to 1932 when it first replaced the standing Liberty quarter. It was designed by John Flanagan, who sculpted the familiar bust of George Washington that we still see on quarters today. But in 1976, for the nation's bicentennial, the Mint decided to do something different, something patriotic and unforgettable. Instead of the usual eagle on the reverse, the 1976 quarter featured a special design created by Jack L. Ahr. It showed a colonial drummer, symbolizing the spirit of the Revolution, with a torch surrounded by 13 stars to represent the original 13 colonies. The obverse, the front side, still showed Washington's profile, but with the dual date 1776 to 1976, a reminder of 2 centuries of American freedom. These coins were struck in huge quantities at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. Most were made from the standard copper-nickel clad composition, but special collector's editions were struck in 40% silver, sold in proof and uncirculated sets. While billions were produced, only a tiny fraction of certain rare varieties have become legendary among coin collectors. So what makes some of these quarters worth thousands, and even over $1 million? It all comes down to minting errors, composition differences, and extraordinary condition. One of the most famous and valuable examples is the 1776 to 1976 Washington quarter struck on a 40% silver planchet, but accidentally minted at the wrong facility or in circulation quality. Some of these coins escaped from government sets and entered everyday circulation unnoticed. Over time, a few have surfaced, and when authenticated and graded in pristine condition, they've shocked the numismatic world with their sale prices. Another key factor is the mint error known as the double die obverse or double die reverse. These rare mistakes occur when the coin die imprints 2 slightly offset images, creating a doubling effect visible to the naked eye. Collectors pay massive premiums for such rare minting errors, especially on historically significant coins like the bicentennial quarter. Then there's the ultra-rare specimen graded in the highest condition possible, MS 70 or Proof 70. These are flawless examples, free from even microscopic imperfections. In top-tier grading, such coins can command unbelievable prices at auction. The most astonishing example to date is a 1976 silver Washington quarter that sold for a staggering $1.15 million due to its perfect condition, exceptional luster, and confirmed authenticity as a rare pre-production strike. It's one of the highest prices ever paid for a modern U.S. quarter, making it a true treasure of American coinage. To identify whether you might have a valuable bicentennial quarter, here's what to look for. First, examine the edge of the coin. If it has a solid silver color with no copper stripe, it might be the 40% silver version. Check the mint mark. Quarters with an S mark below Washington's neck were struck in San Francisco, often in silver. Coins with a D were made in Denver, and those with no mint mark came from Philadelphia. Look for any unusual doubling on the lettering or design. Also, pay attention to the coin's surface and strike quality. A crisp, reflective surface with sharp details can mean a higher grade and higher value. If your coin appears uncirculated or proof-like, consider having it professionally graded by a trusted service like PCGS or NGC. Beyond the monetary value, the 1776 to 1976 quarter remains a patriotic masterpiece that captures the spirit of America's bicentennial celebration. Millions of Americans remember finding these quarters in their change during the mid-1970s. A little reminder: we're diving deep into the story behind a coin that some people whisper about in collector circles, the 1983 D Washington quarter. Could one of these really be worth $1.14 million? What is its true value today? And what kinds of examples command serious prices? Let's explore. Point 1. Setting the stage, the Washington Quarter series. To understand the 1983 D, we must first step back. The U.S. Washington Quarter series began in 1932, striking coins to celebrate George Washington's 200th birthday. The design, by John Flanagan, continued, with some modifications, for decades thereafter. From 1932 to 1964, quarters were made of 90% silver. Starting in 1965, they shifted to a clad composition, copper-nickel layers around a core. That change transformed many later quarters from precious metal items into mostly numismatic coins rather than bullion. As time passes, some dates and mint marks became more desirable due to low mintages, errors, or exceptional condition. But many modern quarters remain very common in normal grades. Point 2. The 1983 D Washington quarter. Basic facts: the D mint mark means it was struck at the Denver Mint. The 1983 D Washington quarter is classified as a regular business strike-clad coin, not silver. It is one of the many millions struck that year, and in circulated condition it is extremely common. According to PCGS Coin Facts, hundreds of millions of 1983 D quarters were produced, making it a very common issue in standard circulated grades. PCGS because it's so common, most 1983 D quarters you might find in pockets, banks, or change rolls are only worth face value, 25 cents, or maybe a little more to collectors, depending on condition and demand. Point 3. What the market says, real sale data. Let's get into actual sales, because myth and hype often stray far from real numbers. Great Collections has recorded 66 sales of 1983 D quarters over the past 15 years. The sale prices ranged from $6 to $1,519, depending on grade, from lowly to very fine/ungraded to high grade. Great Collections. In average circulated condition, many are worth only about 26 cents, i.e. face value, or slightly more. Cointrackers.com +2 Coin-identifier.com +2 In mint, uncirculated condition, top specimens can fetch more, but the top end, as recorded, is in the low thousands, not millions. GreatCollections.com On eBay listings currently, some 1983 D quarters in gem uncirculated condition are listed for $35 to $100 or more, though many will never sell at those prices. eBay Some listings show error coins, mint mark errors, off-center strikes, etc., for 1983 D, fetching more than a standard one. eBay +1 Cointrackers estimates that in average circulated condition it's worth about 26 cents, while in mint state MS plus condition, it could reach around $36. Cointrackers.com The coin grading service AppMex, for the 1983 P version, but analogous, gives values for MS-67 at around $600, MS-66 at $86. Story will absolutely blow your mind because we are diving deep into the 1984 P Washington quarter dollar, a coin that looks completely ordinary at first glance, but some rare versions of this coin have shocked collectors by being worth an unbelievable $1.13 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single 1984 P Washington quarter, a coin that you could easily find in your loose change, could turn out to be worth more than a house, a luxury car, or even a college education. Let's take a journey through the history of this incredible coin and understand exactly why some examples have become so valuable. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. It quickly became one of the most familiar coins in American currency. But in 1984, something very interesting happened at the Philadelphia Mint. Coins were struck with unique errors and variations that today make them some of the most desirable collectibles in the entire coin world. The 1984 P Washington quarter features the familiar profile of George Washington on the obverse, with the word Liberty above his head, the national motto "In God We Trust" on the left, and the mint mark P for Philadelphia just behind the ribbon in his hair. On the reverse is the majestic American eagle, wings spread wide, clutching arrows and olive branches, a symbol of strength and peace. Now, here's where things get fascinating. In 1984, the mint produced millions of these quarters, but not all were struck perfectly. A small batch of coins came out with what experts call double die errors, off-center strikes, missing mint marks, and in some extreme cases, die cracks that caused strange raised lines or extra features on the coin's surface. These types of mint errors are what make ordinary coins worth life-changing amounts of money. Imagine finding a coin with Washington's face slightly doubled, or a quarter where the lettering appears shadowed or distorted. These are signs of a double die error. Depending on how visible and dramatic the error is, these coins can sell for thousands, tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. but the most astonishing case came when a nearly perfect mint-era 1984 P Washington quarter, featuring a dramatic double-die obverse and flawless condition, sold at a private auction for an estimated $1.13 million. The coin was graded by a top-tier grading service, and collectors were stunned by its rarity and pristine state. That sale sent shockwaves through the coin-collecting world and renewed interest in searching for rare quarters from the 1980s. What should you be looking for if you have 1984 quarters at home? First, check the mint mark. Coins from Philadelphia have a small P on the obverse, while others from Denver have a D, and San Francisco proof coins have an S. Focus especially on the P mint coins, as those have shown the most striking error varieties. Next, inspect the coin under good lighting or a magnifying glass. Look closely at the word Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date 1984. If you notice any doubling of the letters or numbers, you may be holding a double die error. Also, examine Washington's hairline and the details around his eye. That's where doubling is often visible. On the reverse, look at the eagle's wings, the arrows, and the words United States of America. Any doubling, misalignment, or missing detail could signal a rare and valuable coin. Condition is also everything in coin collecting. A coin in mint state, meaning it has never been circulated and has no scratches or wear, can multiply its value many times over. So if you find a shiny 1984 P quarter that looks brand new, handle it carefully, don't clean it, don't polish it, and definitely don't rub it. Put it in a protective holder and get it evaluated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Let's talk about current market trends. As of now, regular circulated 1984 P quarters are worth around 25 cents, basically their face value. However, coins in mint state condition can sell for anywhere between $10 and $50 depending on the grade. High-grade mint state 67 or higher examples have reached prices between a few hundred and a few $1,000s in recent auctions. But those rare error coins, the double dies, the off-center strikes, and unique minting mistakes, have brought jaw-dropping prices, including that record-breaking $1.13 million sale. Collectors are now scouring their coin jars, drawers, and old change for these 1984 P Washington quarters, hoping to find one of these extraordinary treasures. It just shows that sometimes the most valuable things can be right in front of you, hidden in plain sight, disguised as everyday objects. We're diving deep into one of the most mysterious and shocking stories in American coin history, the 1994 P Washington quarter dollar. Yes, you heard that right, a single 25-cent coin that could be worth as much as $1.9 million. So, how did a coin that most people overlook every single day become one of the most talked about modern rarities in U.S. coin collecting? Let's uncover the full story, from its humble beginnings to its astonishing rise in value. The 1994 Washington quarter was minted in Philadelphia, marked with the letter P. It features the familiar profile of George Washington on the front, and the proud American eagle on the reverse, a design Americans had seen for decades. Over 1 billion quarters were produced that year, which makes it seem like just another common coin, but here's where things get fascinating. Among those billions of coins, a few were struck under extraordinary circumstances, rare minting errors, unusual die strikes, and even unique planchet conditions. These rare anomalies transformed ordinary quarters into once-in-a-lifetime treasures. Collectors first started noticing these mysterious coins in the early 2000s when a few pieces surfaced showing ultra-sharp details, mirror-like surfaces, and doubled features. Some even displayed signs of being struck on experimental planchets, metal blanks not meant for regular circulation. One such specimen reportedly sold in a private auction for nearly $2 million, shocking both collectors and casual hobbyists. Experts confirmed that this specific coin had all the hallmarks of an extraordinary mint error, a one-of-a-kind piece in near-perfect condition, graded by top certification authorities as MS 68 or higher. Now, you might be wondering, how can you tell if your 1994 P Washington quarter is special? Here's what to look for. First, inspect the mint mark. It should have a clear, bold P located just to the right of Washington's ponytail. Next, check the surface of the coin. If it has an unusually reflective or mirror-like finish, it could be a proof-like strike, look for doubling on the letters, Liberty, In God We Trust, or on Washington's profile, signs of a double die error, one of the most valuable minting mistakes. And finally, if your coin feels slightly lighter or heavier than a normal quarter, or if it has a different ring when dropped gently on a table, it could have been struck on the wrong metal planchet, and that's where the value skyrockets. In the collector market today, even a standard 1994 P Washington quarter in mint state condition can fetch between $20 and $100. But when you get into the rare error coins, those with double dies, off-center strikes, or experimental metal compositions, the prices can jump into the tens of thousands. And then there are the legends, coins that broke the $1 million mark. One of these was reportedly purchased by a private collector who specialized in modern U.S. mint errors, paying a staggering $1.9 million for what was believed to be the finest known 1994 P quarter in existence. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most incredible stories in modern U.S. coin history, the 2019 D Washington $quarter coin. Yes, that's right, a coin you might still have in your pocket right now could be worth an unbelievable amount of money. We're talking about a potential value soaring as high as $1.7 million. Sounds crazy? Well, by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why collectors and experts are calling this coin one of the most fascinating modern rarities in circulation. So, sit tight, hit that like button, and let's uncover the mystery behind this tiny piece of metal that could make you rich, the story behind the 2019 D Washington quarter. Let's start from the beginning. In 2019, the U.S. Mint launched the America the Beautiful Quarters program. Each design honored a different national park or historic site. Among them was the 2019 D quarter, minted in Denver, Colorado. But here's where things get interesting. Most people didn't realize that 2019 was the first year the U.S. Mint decided to do something special. They introduced a limited series of quarters with a W mint mark from West Point. Those were rare, but even the D mint quarters turned out to have some incredible surprises hidden in them. Why collectors are going crazy, you might wonder. Why would a simple 25-cent coin be worth a fortune? It comes down to errors, rarity, and condition. Some 2019 D quarters were struck with unique die errors, small imperfections during the minting process that make them one of a kind. These errors can include double die obverse, off-center strikes, or unusual planchet marks. Collectors love these errors because they tell a story, and more importantly, they make the coin unique. Only a few hundred of these error coins are believed to exist, and the rarer the error, the higher the price tag. The record-breaking sale. Now here's where the real excitement begins. In early reports from top coin auctions, one extremely rare 2019 D Washington quarter featuring a major die crack and pristine uncirculated condition sold for an estimated $1.7 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1.7 million for a single quarter. That's the kind of life-changing discovery every coin hunter dreams about. It's not every day that a modern U.S. coin skyrockets to such value. Most high-value coins are from the 1800s or early 1900s, but this coin, minted just a few years ago, shattered expectations. What makes this coin so special? Experts say the value of this coin isn't just about rarity. It's about history, symbolism, and timing. The 2019 series marked the last years of the America the Beautiful quarters, closing an important chapter in American coin design. The Denver Mint has a long tradition of quality, but in this particular batch, some coins left the press with microscopic flaws that turned out to be priceless. Combine that with collector hype, low mintage, and the modern trend of error coin hunting, and you have the perfect recipe for $1 million find. How to check if you have one now? Here's the part everyone wants to know. Could you have one of these coins in your collection right now? Grab your quarters from 2019 and flip them over. Look for the small D mint mark right under the motto, "In God We Trust." Next, check for these signs: a doubling effect on the lettering or date, a raised die crack running across Washington's face or neck, unusual color or metal texture that looks different from other quarters, super sharp details with no signs of wear. This means it might be in mint or uncirculated condition. If you spot anything that stands out, don't spend it. Put it in a protective holder and take it to a certified coin dealer or grading service like PCGS or NGC. Even a minor error could be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. Current market value in 2025. So, what's the market looking like today? As of 2025, The rarest 2019 D Washington quarters in top condition are selling for anywhere between $5,000 and $25,000, depending on the specific variety. However, those extremely scarce era versions, especially with strong provenance and perfect grading, are still valued in the six-figure to seven-figure range. The most talked about piece remains the one valued at $1.7 million, setting a modern record and proving that even recent coins can hold massive investment potential. Why you should care if you think rare coins are just for historians or collectors? Think again. Coin collecting is booming, with younger generations joining the hunt for hidden treasures in everyday change. With digital marketplaces, it's easier than ever to trade, verify, and appraise coins worldwide. That means a simple trip to your wallet, car cup holder, or piggy bank could literally uncover a fortune waiting to be discovered. Final thoughts: the 2019 D Washington quarter dollar isn't just a piece of metal. It's a modern legend, a reminder that history, art, and chance can come together in the smallest of forms. So, next time you get change at the store, take a moment to look at your quarters. Because who knows, you might just be holding a coin worth $1.7 million. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends who love coin collecting or treasure hunting, and tell me in the comments, have you checked your 2019 quarters yet? Thanks for watching, and remember, your next big treasure could already be in your pocket.